All right, welcome back, Speed Gaming. We are on to the quarterfinals. This time we have Zoasty versus ShinyZeni. My name is Tracy M. With me is Plumpst. How you doing, Plumpst?
Hello, doing well.
All right, so now we are in the quarterfinals. I keep saying this, but I have so many friends in this community. Two of my good friends, Zos versus ShinyZeni. It should be a really, really good matchup. Zost and Zeni, two of the absolute top runners in the world. Zost with one of only 4 people to have a 41 or lower in SM any percent. Zeni, of course, the RBO world record holder. And really, these two are the top 2 in RBO as well. So, two really good runners. Zost, though, a little more experienced in randomizer in general than Zeni is. So, we might see that come into play here.
Yeah, honestly, it just seems a little weird to see him racing randomizer and not something like 80% at a
I know,
BBQ
right?
event.
All right, and of course this is still Dash, so we're still. If anybody missed some of the earlier matches, we could talk a little about what the differences in Dash are. So if you're familiar with the total randomizer used in 2017, this is based on that, with a few changes. You want to talk about some of those changes, Plumps?
Yeah, so I think the two main things are um, the access to major items. So Spazer will open up Bot Wound and Waterway, and then Bombs will open up the Wreckship Reserve item. So basically, just making so that items aren't speed locked, basically.
Yeah,
And I
giving
think
some
the other
alternatives.
changes are the charge beam getting a underpowered charge beam in the beginning of the game,
Yep.
like around 30% power, and gravity protecting against heat at a 50% rate, so making suitless Lord Rover plays viable.
Yeah, we've already seen we've got just an energy tank at the first item and some early power bombs, so that's always nice, not having to worry about those power bombs.
Yeah, in totals, rando, because for those who have watched a lot of the randomizer league, using totals rando is, I'd say, quite different than the Varia rando because, yeah, so they find supers behind Morph Ball there. In general, power bombs and super missiles are easier to find, as well as progression will rarely send you all over the place. It'll be more linear. So it
Yeah,
just
sometimes.
technique.
Yeah, I
I
don't know
think.
so much about the progression being more linear because we've already seen a couple of very non-linear seeds. But that said, it is a lot less likely that you're going to be hard gated by power bombs for as long as some of the league seeds can happen. You're not going to. It's a rare total seed that actually has a power bomb as your first power bomb, like Norfair or something. And interesting that Zeni's going the so-called meme route, going through towards Big Pink right away. Zo's doing the more traditional route of going up the climb to head over toward Bomb Chorizo.
Yeah, I like to see the divergence in routes. I feel like meme routes always something that's kind of interesting to do. If you can commit to, oh wait, they have Spazer. That's a good point.
Yeah, it's
But it's always
Spazer.
something if you're
Yeah,
gonna
go ahead.
commit to like Wreckship early.
Yeah, we're going to see one of those changes right now. So Zeni with that Spazer Beam is going to go ahead and be able to break these speed blocks. He has to be a little bit careful. These enemies are Meridia enemies and they do a ton of damage to only the power suit. So he's got to make sure not to get hit by them. And Zoasty getting the Plasma Beam. So we'll see if he remembers that grabbing that Spazer Beam has advantages when he gets there. Just an
Yeah,
E-tank, though, for his trouble, so if Zos does decide to skip that Spazer, it may not have any bearing on the match. We'll see. Zeni looks like he wants to farm up some extra power bombs here. Which is a really good idea, because he needs 2 to get out of the area, and that would leave him with none at that point, which means he wouldn't be able to check the wave gate and would have trouble getting to Edikun. So, very smart move, going ahead and farming those up. I guess I wasn't watching, but it sure looks like Zos picked up X-ray at Terminator, so may or may not be useful item. He does actually at this point it is a useful item because of that starter charge beam. He can do the so-called microwave beam. It just will be a lot weaker with that starter charge beam. But he does have plasma, a charge beam of sorts, and the X-ray, and that'll help him out. Meanwhile, Zeni picks up an E-tank and just a reserve at the Brinstar reserve area.
Yeah, actually, even without charge, so having the starter charge beam plus plasma and X-rays is pretty nice because bosses like Phantoon and Bot Wounds still are pretty weak, so they'll go down quickly even with the weakened microwave.
And Zos picking up some extra power bombs over there in the early supers area. No regular bombs, no spring balls. It's always good to have those extra power bombs until you get some of those other items.
Yeah, actually, I forgot to mention one of arguably the biggest differences is that the ammo ratio on Dash is completely set.
Yeah.
There's, I believe, 34 missiles, 14 supers, and 18 power bombs, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the runners will have complete knowledge on approximately how many tanks there will be at all times. So they don't have to worry about maybe the seed will have like no power bombs, or maybe the seed will have no super or something like that.
Yeah, we've certainly seen our share of like 5 power bombs in randomizer league action. So none of that here. A lot of that's done to make the Hell Run possibility in Lower North a little more viable, to make sure you have enough power bombs to do it. Even though that gravity suit does do half damage instead of the full damage, like in most randomizers, you still want to have at least a little bit of Crystal Flash ammo to help you out there, and this makes it easier to get. Okay, as the runners end up checking the stuff that their opponent has seen already, Zeni decides not to pick up that reserve tank. He's already got one. Also choosing not to pick up those missiles. And
yeah, so
go ahead.
Zoast will pick up the Spazer. Might as well check the waterway item, even though it's not that likely to have an important item. Because the oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was like, if nothing else, he doesn't have to worry about it later. When you don't get to check waterway when you're there, it weighs on you the entire rest of the match until you're either in go mode or until you have no other choice but to check it.
Yeah, it is a very slow check if you're not already in the area, so it makes sense to do it now. And I was just gonna say that I think I didn't say this, but even with the changes, the total rando logic is still the same. Just you have more options to get to locations early, but in logic, the game is still expecting you to have speed booster get the waterway item.
Yes. Yeah, it's not gonna say, well, we're gonna put speed booster behind waterway because now you can get it with Spazer. It doesn't work that way. Speed booster will still never be at the waterway location.
So Zeni is probably going to straight over to the ship. Zos does have a decision on whether he can go up or down. Now, of course, because Zos, runs 80%, he is used to going up, but it's still, given this item set he has, he can still choose to take the route down toward Kraid, since he doesn't have bombs or speed, which means he would not be able to, at least currently, get the wreck ship reserve item.
Yeah, I mean, the only way to get across for either one of these runners right now is to use the CWJ, which is not an easy strat for anyone. And normally, new route runners will go straight to the IBJ if the CWJ fails the first time. So it doesn't surprise me if he does decide to go down. Unfortunately for Zeni, one of the reasons to go the route that he went is so you can check Gauntlet. He doesn't have enough power bombs. He obviously didn't pick up that second power bomb pack that he could have in the reserve area. So that's he's not going to be able to do this. He can check it, but he's going to have to reset out of it. So I'm a little surprised he's actually even checking it. Meantime, Zos picks up my favorite item, the space jump. Which, you know, is not a necessary item, but sure is a nice item to get for movement-wise, getting around, especially without currently having high jump boots or speed booster.
Yeah, on the way down, looks like Zos wasn't very comfortable in doing that tough deboost strat to X-Ray, but now he actually has very easy access and can go check X-Ray whenever he chooses to.
Yeah, Space Jump makes it pretty easy. I wouldn't call it free until you have Space Jump and Screw Attack, because it's not uncommon to be Space Jumping through the X-Ray area and just get sniped by a waiver and lose your Space Jump. And Zos using that X-Ray for its intended purpose. Don't see that very often. And we are going to see what's that Gauntlet. And hopefully for Zeni's sake, either it's bombs or Screw Attack or nothing good, because he's going to have to reset otherwise. It's just an E-Tank, so he doesn't... So now he has that knowledge, which is a good thing, but he doesn't have to worry about picking up that item. Meanwhile, Zos goes into his crate fight.
And setting up for the 2 missile 3 super strat. Makes it look automatic.
And picks up a charge beam. So that's really nice. He doesn't have to worry about that starter charge. Zeni will get that too, he just won't get it right away. Would have been useful for him in the ship.
Yeah, honestly, just great for both runners, since they will not have to be concerned with ammo at this point.
Yep. Yeah, they'll have charge plasma, if nothing else, which is not a bad thing. Zeni forgetting he doesn't have regular bombs. he was all ready to set up for that horizontal bomb jump. That next time he did get the first jump of there, but he did not get the second. And interestingly, that bomb, that block that he just power bombed out, is actually a shot block. So hopefully he realizes it. Okay, it doesn't matter. He got the CWJ. Third try.
Very nice. Yeah. That is an extremely hard trick to get, even for the best runners. Just because it's like is it a 2-frame jump for the first one?
Yeah.
Window for the first, and a 1-frame for the second?
One of them's 2, and one of them's 1. I can't remember which is what. But yeah, it's very difficult to get consistently. It's not that hard to get accidentally, ironically enough, but it's very difficult to do it consistently. Kind of contrast it with the horizontal bomb jump, which is hard to do by accident and get it at first, but from all that I've heard, is pretty easy to do once you know how to do it. And apparently for that indoor setup, Maniacal telling us that both of them are 1 frame. If you go through the door, it's 1, then 2. And we're going to see our first hell run of the match as Zos goes and checks the ice beam. And gets a wave beam. Nice.
That's a great pickup.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a very nice beam combination there.
Yeah, and Zo's still gonna use that Spazer for now. Gonna not waste the time with the menu until he absolutely needs to. While Zeni's showing off the weak but still effective microwave.
Yep. Yeah, for a runner of Zo's caliber, he doesn't really care that much, Spazer versus Plasma. I'm sure there'll be a situation at some point where he'll menu to switch over to Plasma. And if not, he'll just do it when it becomes appropriate to do it. And Zeni finishes up Phantoon. Very nice.
Ooh, and Zos finds bombs, and that's actually really important, because that means that Zeni is more or less likely to be able to get that Wreck Ship Reserve item, unless one of the other ones are Speed Booster.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly could find Speed Booster at this point, but if he doesn't, and that item is something important, then Zos is going to be able to get it, and Zeni is not.
And Zoast is... Okay, he's gonna reset the room. For a second, I thought he was going for it, but that would have been a little
Yeah,
reckless.
that amount of energy is a little bit too low for that area. You want to have, like, typical, to give you an idea, RBO will typically do a 2 E-Tank, 1 reserve setup as the minimum amount. It is possible to get through with only 2 E-Tanks, but I've only seen it done. I've only actually seen it done with just 2 E-Tanks once, and that was by a guy by the name of Behemoth. I believe he was doing a Crocomire RTA run at the time, and he got some drops to help him out. So that is just not where you want to start out with the Hell Run. So 4 E-Tanks for Zos should be plenty.
Yeah, glad to see him save too, because I remember very clearly I was actually commenting a race on one of the randomizer leagues where Zoast died in the Hell Run and ended up losing the match because he didn't save.
Yep, I think I might have been on that one with you.
Yeah, Space Jump making this last lava Rising Tide room very, very easy though, which helps.
Yeah, it does
so
help
he
a
gets
lot.
out with plenty of help to spare.
And Zeni going for this difficult bomb jump. He got it in the last race, but he had regular bombs to do it. It's a bit about the same with the power bombs, but you do have to worry about running out, and I do believe he saved beforehand, so, and he does get it. And Zo's having a little trouble in the back cave here, decides to go back and farm up a little before he heads on up. Is going to farm here before checking the item. Meanwhile, we're going to see what the wrecked ship E-Tank is on Zeni's side. And it's just an E-Tank, so he's going to reset.
Yep, smart to take that save and reset, especially since going back with his item would be very, very slow.
Slow and dangerous, and a big part of why he's even here is because we saw him and Azure both go for that item. Zeni had a save, Azure did not, and died on his way back to through the spiky room of death. Oh, jeez. Looks like Zos might have had his fingers slip off that run button. He's going to have to reset that room to get through all the way. Still has enough energy to get through, though. And also, I'll point out, he has enough money for enough ammo for a crystal flash if absolutely necessary.
That would be an interesting, nice E-Tank, yeah. I'm saying that would be an interesting mod. Having currency through Metroid.
Ooh, that's an Ice Beam, and Zeni's not going to be able to pick it up. Now, it might not matter if he gets, he's got that Spazer Beam, so he doesn't have to worry about getting to bot wound. So yeah, so in terms of actually being able to complete the seed, not having that Ice Beam is not going to matter, and it's entirely possible that Zos never even sees that item. But it does mean that we will have to worry about power bombs. We will have to worry about, you know, having those 15 power bombs for Turian. We'll be using the Spazer or Speed Booster to get through to bot wound. So yeah, it's an unfortunate thing to find that you can't pick up, but certainly could be a worse item.
Well, we do know that because ice is there, that means speed will be accessible to some degree.
Yeah, speed will be before bot wound for sure.
And so for Zeni's sake, I'm hoping he finds a suit over here at Gravity.
I always like the seeds when one person goes up, the other one goes down, but they each get a suit. Because then you really can't tell who's and which decision was better.
Meanwhile, Zoasty finding that high jump at Wave. Great pickup for him. But he's still... Oh, and...
Oh, vanilla gravity suit. Speaking of suits.
Yeah. That's a nice pickup for Zeni, since we mentioned that he won't need that Ice Beam to get to bot wound anymore. He can just use the Spazer. Which is an option at this point. Like, Zeni can decide to do Meridia first before the Norfair Hell runs. Because Zos is still on the lookout for his Varia suit.
Yeah, looks like Zos is setting up for a Crystal Flash here. And this is the last major hell run that he'll do, assuming he doesn't decide to do a full-on RBO lower Norfair situation. Oh, and there's the various suit.
Okay.
You know what? I said it. I said one suit in each place. That's really cool. So this will be a really interesting race now. I don't know who's got the advantage. Depending on the fact that the Ice Beam is in Wreck Ship is going to force Zos to go up that way at some point. He can't just do Suitless Meridia, so that's going to hurt him a little bit. He's going to have to do the Wreck Ship. Zeni, on the other hand, is going to be able to go down to Norfair, and if he does do Norfair and doesn't do Meridia, that's going to work out really well for him. But with that gravity suit, he might be tempted to do Meridia first, and to his mind, that could be the item. That could be the location for the items he needs.
I feel like just because it's Zeni, he's more likely to go to Norfair.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, he's known for RBO, and I mean, every race I've seen him do, he just commits to doing suitless lower Norfair whenever it's possible. But yeah, who knows what he decides this time.
with gravity giving me half damage on the heat. Wow, this is so much. I say easier, but it's not easy, but easier than what he's used to. And so it's gonna go for a lava dive.
I wouldn't even put it past him to even skip like Bubble Mountain checks and go straight to lower Norfair. But it's looking like Zeni, if he does go to Norfair, he will probably pick up that various suit and be in like pretty much go mode, given that we know where most of the items are at this point.
Ooh, and Zeni gonna check X-ray with the early X-ray deboost strat, so this is really interesting. And gets a grapple beam.
Well, he has his way out, at least.
And this time he keeps it. So for those of you who watched the last time, grapple beam was in its vanilla location. Zeni declined to pick it up and reset, only to later realize that he needed to get to Shack Tool, which is where his ice beam was to get through. And this time he says, nope, I'm not making that mistake again. And Screw Attack for Zos, that's really nice. Screw Attack, one of those super luxury items. With Space Jump and Screw Attack combination, that just makes for so free.
Yeah, the seed making me question a little bit about whether it's actually randomized.
We've seen quite a few vanilla there. We got the gravity and the Screw Attack in their vanilla locations. Now, hopefully at some point, Zos does remember he does have Plasma Beam. Ideally, so long as he remembers before the Ridley fight.
Yeah, and Zoast has all the items you'd want for lower Norfair, high jump, and space jump, and Screw Attack. Although he's fortunately
the only thing he's missing is gravity suit.
8%. Yeah, that's true, but I mean, this is also how many more, like 3 more tanks or 2 more tanks that he would normally have.
It's to compare it to what he would do in a typical 80% run. At this point, I believe he'd only have 2 E-tanks and gravity suit. So this is probably safer than what he's used to in an 80% run. Zeni having the gravity suit, knowing the next time he goes through there, he's gonna go into Meridia, does open the tube up, and that is in this case, I think that's a good idea. It's supposed to save it saves a little bit of time as opposed to doing it when you get back. Of course, the one nice thing for Zoast, when he does get to the wreck ship, it's going to be much faster. The thing that's going to be a little bit of a danger to him is he going to go to Croc before he goes to the wreck ship? And that would lose him quite a bit of time.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's going to purely come down to decision making, given that we know where the progression is.
And of course, the question for Zeni, does he go to Norfair or does he go to Meridia? I agree with you. I expect him to go to Norfair, but You know, I've seen runners do stranger things. They don't always do what I expect them to do.
Well, yeah, this is where it becomes, I mean, as a commentator, where I can't really predict actually what they're going to do, just because their mechanics are so good that in their minds, right, they can do honestly whatever they want.
Pretty
So
much.
the randomizer is, I guess, weighs less on their mind than, all right, what items do I have and what can I do? And Zoast is gonna farm up some more because super missiles are
I don't think
easier.
I'm not sure he remembers he has that plasma beam.
Yeah, this is
because I don't see any
feeling
reason
a
to
bit
farm
nervous
this up
about
unless you plan on using supers. And with plasma beam, it's a 24-shot fight with charge wave plasma, as opposed to an 86-shot fight with charge wave Spazer. So it's quite a difference. And you don't really need those supers if you're going to go charge wave plasma. And he is not turning on that plasma beam. Zoast, you have plasma.
I can say firsthand that even recently, I think I was running some seeds last week. I definitely forgot multiple times about having items.
Happens.
So I do not blame Zoast at all for this.
Oh no, it totally happens. I've had some into the past randomizer seeds where I've forgotten key items that I picked up. So yeah, we've all been there.
Alright, Zoast has gotten Ridley down to his second half, so he should be fine. He has the 15 supers he needs.
Yeah, he's just hit
do
those
the quick kill. Ooh,
missing those supers doesn't help.
Quite a couple of supers, yeah.
And just an E-tank at Ridley. And Zeni is heading down, not going to be baited into Meridia, so that's really good for Zeni. The big question is Zoast going to go to Crocomire, or is he going to go to the wreck ship? That's another place. There's a lot of places Zoast, if he doesn't remember that he has that plasma beam, he's going to lose time. If he goes to Crocomire, that Crocomire fight is super, super short when you have plasma beam. Not that it's that bad with any other charge beam situation, but you can one-shot Croc with the plasma beam, which would cost him less time than it will if he decides to try and kill Croc with the wave Spazer combination he has.
Yep, and Zeni actually is gonna. He's almost certainly doing the run to Bubble Mountain, but having that gravity is just gonna save him time, because having to take less heat damage, you won't have to farm nearly as much as Zoast did in his Bubble Mountain runs. Ooh, nice X-ray clip.
Yep.
From Zoast.
Okay, Zoast making his way out of Lower Norfair. Zeni gonna do his checks over here. Looks like he's gonna, this is gonna save Zeni time potentially, because he's gonna get his barrier suit right now. And that means that he may not even check the rest of Bubble Mountain.
Yeah, I think with the items he has, I think he feels comfortable enough with only taking the really short checks, like maybe Fire Fleas or Ridley.
Okay, let's see if Zoast is going to be doing Speedless Speedway. Nope, he's going to go do Crocomire, which, you know, is a fine play. To his knowledge, it could be here. I just wish he'd remember he had plasma.
Yeah, I mean, this looks to be pretty close, and if Zoast ends up losing that plasma or lack of using plasma could actually cost him.
To be fair, it's not a whole lot of time difference, but as good as these guys are, it could make the difference. But he's not using he didn't use plasma. Ridley, he's not using a croc. He does not remember he has it. Like, this fight would already be done if he were using plasma. And I'm trying to think what situation might he go to his menu and realize it, and there's not a whole lot of situations right now where he's gonna go to that menu. Sees a spring ball. Nice item, but it's kind of outlived its usefulness. Not going to be very useful. Were he to find ice down here, then he could definitely just decide to do go do Meridia without gravity and not even care whether it's required or not. But without Ice Beam, that's just not really an option.
Yeah, actually, chat mentioning about ammo, there's a good point. If you don't need ice or speed to beat the game, but if you end up not picking up either item, you will need more ammo because you won't be able to do a Zebetite skip, which the Zebetites do eat up a lot of ammo.
And to answer the question in chat about using spring ball jump, if you have space jump, you're never going to be jump, so it's not going to. Just like with space jump, you're never going to do a gravity jump. That's another place you'll often go to your menu. And so right now, there's really no reason I can think of that Zos is going to go to his menu until we get to the very end, and he maybe turns off gravity for stand up, or turns off screw attack to do Zeb skip. Yeah, someone's asking about a crazy third kind of Zeb skip. Yeah, you can, if you destroy the first Zeb, you can do the Zeb skip with the spring ball. Actually, you don't even need spring ball to do it, but it's just a little more difficult. And Zoast has actually been doing that a lot with some GT Classic runs, so you might see that today. But that's still, not going to get him turning his menu until Torian. So.
Yeah, at this point, Zoast doesn't even have grapple, so he's pretty much forced to go up to the ship now.
Yep. Yeah, and you do need ice for that. That is a good point. So the more interesting question I'm going to have when Zoast gets to the wreck ship, does he grab that Ice Beam? Given that he is going to grab the gravity suit, given that he has Spazer to get through Meridia. Getting that Ice Beam with bombs is pretty darn slow.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably worth it enough for him. I know Zoast tends to be the guy that just, relies on his skills. He sees a good item. Ice Beam saves you a lot of time in Turian. I think you would probably grab that.
Okay, so this is an interesting point. So normally we're saying, in chat, bringing up the idea if he gets his grapple beam at X-ray, and he will. Can he do Suitless Meridian? Normally, I would say because you need that Ice Beam. But that's Spazer. The reason you need the Ice Beam, and I wonder if he'll even think about this. The reason you need Ice Beam in Suitless Meridia specifically is to be able to do the clip into bot wound. That Spazer will do that for you. So he could, because he could use spring ball jumps to get through Meridia, and then he could use grapple beam to get up into the bot wound area, and then he could use Spazer to get through it. So that is an interesting possibility. I wonder if he'll think of it, and if he does, will he go for it?
Yeah, I'm highly surprised if he would do something like that, but I think it is a possibility. Yeah, you definitely can, even though ice actually helps in a lot of places while you do Suitless.
Okay, so where is he gonna go? He's gonna go, yeah. Not surprising, he is just gonna do the wreck ship play. But interesting to speculate. That is a possibility. Something that you wouldn't be able to do in a seed. But it does tell me that Speed Booster pretty much has to be, I'm gonna say Mama Turtle, Sand Pit, or it could be a Shack Tool again.
Yeah,
Actually,
I think we've seen every item, so it has to be one of the Meridia
one of those 3
locations.
And I shouldn't say again because Zeni had to go to Shack Tool in his previous match to get Ice Beam to get through. So it would be, this time it would be Speed Booster. Okay, looks like Zeni into the Metal Pirates. He's going to get to his Ridley fight soon. And Zeni should have a much easier time of it since he does have that Plasma Beam turned on. And Zeni into his Ridley fight as Zos is about to start his Phantoon fight, and this is, Zos is good enough that this could still be a very, very, very quick Phantoon fight, but boy, if he were to use that plasma with the X-ray.
Zoasty getting a rare fast pattern.
Oh my god, he could have, yeah, if he did, with that plasma beam, that fight would already be over.
But he, oh no, I think he
just misses the 2 round.
I think by 1 missile.
I'll bet he is. Well, usually in this situation, it's one missile short. So this is a lot of time he's losing to not remembering that plasma. Yeah, I think it was just one shot off.
Yeah, now Zeni's on his way out. He's in go mode to play the game, but again, it's interesting to keep in mind of the ammo situation, because I believe if you're going through the Zebes, you're going to need 80 missiles worth of ammo, and right now he only has 85, so you probably would want to pick up a couple of extra ammo packs or have to refill.
For the Zebes?
Yeah.
He's got plenty. He's got 20 supers.
Well, you need.
Yeah,
I know you
he needs
need
a little bit more.
44 missiles for the Zebetites.
Right. If you do it optimally and don't refill. It's 4 supers for each one. There's a way to optimize it with combining supers and missiles, but I forget what those numbers are.
I usually do 2 missiles plus 3 supers. I think does it for each one.
The problem with the Zebes have 1,000 HP, but they will respawn a little bit if you try and destroy them with just missile. So Zeni's not going to get the Ice Beam under any circumstances. So, and probably not going to get the Speed Booster either, because those locations that we named off are not really on his way.
I can't see him checking Mama, but yeah, probably not checking the Sand Pit. Definitely not Shackle. Oh, and Zeni, he's heading toward Croc.
Ooh, that'll be a bit of a time gain.
He could still do Croc Escape, but if he checks Croc, that's gonna help Zoast out, catch back up a little bit.
Maybe the Zeni's looking for that Speed Booster. Nope, he's just gonna use Croc Escape. There is a way to get through but we call it the speedless speedway trick with wave and plasma, or wave and Spazer, which he has either combination of. You can get through only going from the direction from Bubble Mountain to the business center. You can shoot out some of the garbage blocks, and it'll think that the blocks aren't there anymore, and you can get through that way. Zeni, not familiar with that trick, decides just to go through Croc Escape, which, to be fair, sometimes that's oh wait, you muscle memory it to go to the speedway, and you realize, oh wait, I'm missing something. But at this point, I would definitely put Zeni in the lead here, because both the runners have still to do Meridia, and Zos is just that much further away.
Yeah, Zoast, the main thing I believe is Zoast checked Crocomire, which was pretty much empty, just had Spring
Yep.
Ball.
Did make that check a lot faster, though, at least. Zeni is going to check Mama Turtle, though, and just gets a reserve tank. So that leaves Sandpit and Shack Tool.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if it was Shack Tool again. If it was for the first time.
Yeah, well, it was Ice, but either way, it was your logical access spot wound was at Shack Tool, so that would be the same in both of Zeni's seeds. Just this time he has Spazer, last time he didn't. Yeah, to answer your question, Maniacal, it's either Sandpit or Shack. We've seen Speed Booster.
Ooh, and Zeni is taking the save.
Yeah, it's an interesting place for him to take a save. It's not really a dangerous area for a runner of his caliber, but I guess he's just making sure.
Well, I mean, looks like he's checking Sandpit if he's taking the save.
Oh, that's a good point. So the answer to the other question, in this case, speed cannot be at Plasma, because Spazer does not logically open bot wound. It's just a change in the randomizer that allows that to happen, and the bombs don't. Same as right here with Zos going ahead. Think of using bombs here as a sequence break. So
Oh, it's just E-Tank. So it is Shack Tool again.
Yeah, so the point being that because he would need Ice Beam to get to Plasma, or Speed Booster to get to Plasma, since Ice Beam is blocked by Speed Booster, the speed cannot be at Plasma. It has to be a Shack Tool.
No, Zeni definitely knows about the Spazer. Like he's gonna turn on his Spazer now. But I guess he thought. I think in his mind he was thinking that speed was worth it enough if it was at a Sandpit there.
Yeah, I mean, with the save scum, it's not that long a check. Same with Mama Turtle. Honestly, though, when you're going up against some of these really good runners, I'm not sure I would have taken the time to check it. But if it had been Speed Booster, that would have been pretty big. But even Zeni, not willing to go all the way to Shack Tool for it, and I think that's certainly the right call.
Oh.
And,
wait.
Okay.
I'm actually not sure about this.
Yeah. Kip?
Wait a moment.
What? Okay, well, okay. So...
I was on the Dash website pretty recently. I did not... Well, regardless...
Cat's going nuts. Okay, well...
We have Zos heading over to Meridia behind Zeni.
Ice... Okay, so here's the issue we're having. The changes to what bombs do in the wreck ship and to what Spazer does at Botwoon are not supposed to be taken into account in the logic. Clearly that did happen. So, because Ice would be logically behind Speed has to be before Botwoon. And it wasn't. So I don't know what to say about that, other than... Yeah, I don't know what to say about it. And no, Crystal Flash Clip is most definitely not in the logic. Yeah, keep laughing because as many seeds as we've tested, we have not seen. And of course, it happens in a race. The one consolation here, it's unless something happens, this is not going to affect wins the race. Zeni's still decently ahead. Zoe still hasn't figured out that he has Plasma Beam, so he's going to lose time here on Bot Moon, using supers and the Charge Beam that he does have.
Yeah, I feel like this is just purely a muscle memory thing with Zoast. The fact that he runs new route,
Yep.
he doesn't pick up the Plasma Beam in that route, so...
Yeah, and to be fair, I don't think that one thing is what's going to make the difference here. The difference, like you said, Zoast checked Croc, Zeni did not check Croc. I think that's going to be a much bigger factor than remembering that you do or don't have Plasma Beam.
Well, in any case, Zeni actually, with that speed booster, is going to be in really good shape for Turian. All he has to do is that speed Zeb skip. He's got a great beam combination, plenty of power bombs, so should not have any troubles down there.
Yeah, and Zo's going to do some speed booster strats for us over at Dragon. Gets a blue suit.
Yeah, let's see if he gets the spike suit on top of it. But looks like he's just gonna leave, and that makes sense since
he has everything.
Yeah,
he literally has
unbeknownst
everything.
to him, he has every item.
Yeah, it'd be funny if he checked it just for Plasma Beam. Yeah, to answer where was Plasma Beam, it was actually at Bomb Torizo, so they got it really, really... And then picked up Spazer at the Charge Beam location, which allowed them to check Waterway. So that's why they both picked it up. Good thing they both did. And Zeni got the Spazer first because he did the so-called meme route, going to the left from the Blue Burn Star area. Zos, going the more traditional route, picked up Plasma, then Spazer, and of course, the way the game works, since you can't have both at the same time, once you pick up Spazer, it turns off your Plasma Beam. And so, since he used the Spazer right away, had no reason to immediately menu off of it, and chose to keep it on for a while, eventually he just forgot he had the Plasma Beam. This is not... we do know certain runners that actually choose not to use Plasma Beam. That's not
Yeah.
the style of run. That's not Zoasty style.
Yeah, he will be able to save time in Turin with the Ice Beam, but again, assuming he still does not realize he has Plasma, is gonna
yeah, when he
lose time
goes
on
to
Mother
Zeb
Brain.
Skip, when he goes to Zeb Skip, he'll see it. I hope. Yeah, that's my guess.
Well, in that case, hope he doesn't do the down back to not
Yeah.
have the menu.
Yeah, there you go. Or the speeds booster skip. That's another one. But if he goes to menu off that screw attack, then he will definitely have to... he'll definitely see it then. And let me tell you, when you've forgotten that you have an item, the moment you realize that you do have that item is a really, really big feels bad.
Yeah, that's a really big one to forget, to be honest. Oh, he's in
Here it
his
is.
menuing, but
Did
hey, he doesn't turn it back on yet. And Zeni gets the clean setup for the baby skip.
Very nice. Yeah, now he sees it. He probably did a double take at that point.
Oh, there we go. Zoast has finally activated his plasma beam.
And Zeni taking a save. Although in this case, I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. It's not going to lose enough time for Zoast to catch up. But if he does make a mistake in his Mother Brain fight, Zoasty should take the lead at that point. So, but we've seen a lot with Zeni. He's taken a lot of extra saves in both his matches, which has paid off pretty well for him. We'll see if it continues to in his future matches.
Yeah, I'd say there's one more dangerous situation for Zeni, is that if he goes for the stand-up glitch,
Yep.
I've seen
You and I
in
have
Dash
both
Rando,
seen.
because of the change in the suits, damage boosting off Mother Brain is gonna be, I think, double of what it normally is.
Yeah, well,
I've
he
seen
won't
multiple
have to.
runners die to it.
Yeah, two things that could happen at this point. So the main thing, the one that we're all used to, is the stand-up glitch in general and soft locking or slow locking and having to reset. But yeah, if he were to take some damage here and then were to decide, okay, I'm just going to damage myself down to the traditional 3 E-tanks, yeah, that there definitely has been some miscalculation involved in doing that if you don't have both suits on. And interesting, the Zeni's waiting till this moment to turn off that various, so I think that he might have had that in mind.
Okay, he gets the damage down, and he has the setup for stand-up. Yeah, because normally that would do only 60 damage on the knee, but it does 120 with the changes to the dash. Or I guess I should say with the way dash works in terms of damage.
Yeah. And to be clear, so I'm seeing some chatter about this, that speed booster location, the only one that would have hurt is Zeni, because he did specifically look for that speed booster. So that didn't, it's not going to cost him unless something bad happens here in the Mother Brain fight. So. And we have Mother Brain on both screens right now. It turned out to be a really close race.
Yeah, definitely, I'd say very clean from both runners. Just when gravity is in its vanilla location, it definitely pays off to do wreck ship first, even though Zeni had to miss out on the ice beam.
Yeah, the big thing being that if that various suit had been a little bit harder to find, then that might have evened out. And see, there you go. That's
yeah.
Not quite remembering the damage totals there on Zo's side.
It is deceptively difficult to damage yourself down if you're setting up for that.
And I'm pretty certain Zos does not have a save. In the end, that's not going to be the thing that costs him. Yeah, his last save is over in Norfair before he started doing hell runs. He's gonna, go ahead and keep going because he hasn't seen the dot done yet. But yeah, at this point, he's probably pretty certain what's gonna happen. I don't know if it were me, I don't know if I'd feel better or worse finding out that wouldn't have made a difference, but.
Zeni getting the nice Behemoth Spark and not the Zeni Spark. On his way through the parlor. And we'll be getting a dot done for him shortly. And he will finish with an official time of 54 minutes and 45 seconds. GG to Zeni.
Yeah, very, very nicely done. And Zeni's going to move on. He will face, make sure I have this right, he will face the winner of the Sloters versus Woody match. So, for someone that's only been picking up randomizer recently, yeah, very well done. He's picked it up pretty good.
Yep,
Let's
so
see.
Zeni, I believe, is... Let's see who he's facing.
Yeah, it was Sloters, the winner of the Sloters
Oh, yeah,
Woody
that's
match.
right.
Yeah. Okay, it looks like Zeni's going to join us. In just a second, let's see.
Oh, it looks like Kip is... I'm seriously curious just about the logic on ice and speed.
Yeah.
So Kip's been looking into that.
Kip says we have changed nothing. Looks like we're gonna get both runners in for an interview, which will, because I really want to ask Host about that poor plasma beam situation. All right, welcoming in Zeni.
Hello.
Hello.
GG.
GG.
So we were talking about this in the race channel, but so when I saw ice at wrecked ship, and I knew I didn't have a way to get to it, I was like, okay, the only way that this is gonna work is if I get speed at gravity or gravity at gravity.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, thankfully Grav was there.
Yeah, well, we're still looking into what happened in this because you lost a little bit of time looking for that speed booster, and we're not sure it could have. We're not sure it was actually supposed to be where it was, or supposed to be able to be where it was. Also,
Oh,
welcome
really?
in yeah, welcome in Zoast and GG.
Hi, Zoast. GG.
GG, man.
Hey, GG. Yeah,
It's
so
an entertaining race for people to watch, so I'm happy with that.
It was a really good race.
that's good.
Because I died on Mother Brain like a minute or two. Like I was trying to do stand up,
Yeah.
and I ran in and got double hit with apparently gravity suit doesn't do full damage reduction. So
Yeah, that's right.
I just ran into Mother Brain and died. It's pretty cool.
To be fair, you're not the first person I've seen that happen to.
It happened to me. I've seen it literally, I think, 5 times already with Dash Rando.
So
Yeah, I
another.
almost died to that this morning, actually.
Mm.
It was a bit monkey.
But I think you were ahead anyway.
Yeah, he was a little bit ahead. I gotta ask you, Zost, at what point? So that plasma beam.
Yeah, yeah.
You remember where you got that?
No.
Bomb trees, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say plasma was at bombs, right? Because
It didn't really help that much though until, like, it would have helped for Ridley.
Yeah, it lost you a little bit of time at Ridley and could have done the microwave in Meridia as well, but
the microwave. Yeah, it would have helped a lot for Batoon.
Yeah.
But
it happens.
It would have saved some time.
I think it was pretty much the difference in times that when you two entered Turian, that was the whatever time difference that was.
You did suitless?
No.
Suitless Meridia?
No, I just went down hell runs and like went straight to Lower North Fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then,
The other
hit X-ray, then wreck ship, all over wreck ship.
Yeah, he also did Crocodile, which you skipped.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. So when I skipped Croc, so I went down that way anyway because I prefer that route to going back through the top route, even though I think it's a little faster to go top route.
Top route.
Through back through
Croc escape instead of going through Cathedral.
Yeah, so I hadn't decided whether or not I was going to skip Croc, which is the other reason that I kind of went down that way. And I was like, okay, you know
No, I
what?
would
Like,
skip Croc. If I were you, I
Yeah.
would skip Croc for sure.
so well,
Did you have a suit yet? Well, you would have found suit before you had to decide.
yeah, I had everything except ice and speed, and I knew that ice was in wrecked ship, and I was locked out of it.
I mean, I'd rather get ammo than gamble on speed.
So, yeah, I was like, okay, well, hopefully speed is up there, and if not, I'm just gonna have to grab miners on my way to Turian and pray, you know.
Right.
But yeah, speed ended up behind Botwoon, and
Which
Tracy,
still has
you're
all of us
saying
confused.
you don't think that that's supposed to be in the logic?
No, it's not supposed to happen. Kip's looking into it, and he seems to think it was a bug in Total's code, not in the new stuff. So
Wait, well, it's not supposed to be in logic?
So the changes, so bombs being able to get you up to the wreck ship reserve, the Spazer being able to open up Botwoon or Waterway, is not supposed to be taken into account by the logic. So
Yeah.
the ice beam being blocked by speed means that since you need speed or ice by logic to get through Botwoon, means that speed booster should have been available before you got to Botwoon.
Oh yeah.
And Zeni even checked a couple of spots for it, so real glad you didn't go to Shacktool for it.
Well, I lucked out super hard then because I wasn't even thinking about that.
That's interesting.
If I had known that logic, I would have gone down to Croc.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like if I'd thought about it.
That's weird. It shouldn't be.
It makes sense.
I can't imagine it being a thing with just Total's original rando, just because in the 2017 tournament there were so many races, and that's
We've never seen
definitely
it.
never happened. Like
Yeah,
there were
it's-
hundreds of races in that tournament.
Yeah.
So like something happened
You didn't
when
change the logic,
the
did you?
action was made.
No, the logic's not supposed to be changed, but yeah, Kip's been looking into it, and I don't think it affected the outcome, so we're not going to worry about it for this race. But
Well, I doubt
Yeah,
it.
I'll race Zoast again. Let's go.
that'd be a fun one to commentate again, but
It should have
unfortunately,
been 30 or 4
Time.
minutes before I got done.
Yeah, no, the race was fine. I think it's obviously just something that Kip and we need to be a little concerned about, because it definitely could affect the race, right? If you're in your mind you think something's not possible when it actually is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you get paranoid about it.
yeah.
That's weird, though. Yeah, that shouldn't be the case for sure.
They probably just put elevator crystal flash spark in logic.
There you go.
Yeah, well, I know one person that would love it if that was in logic by the name of Cross Product. But yeah, so Zeni, looks like you'll be playing the winner of Udi and Sloters. I don't know. I guess, are those guys playing right now on? I think they are playing right now on the other SpeedGaming channel, on SpeedGaming 4.
Looks like Sloters already won that match.
Okay, so you're gonna be playing Sloters.
Man, I gotta race
Have fun,
floaters. Oh man.
You're certainly going through a gauntlet of runners, taking out Azure, and now you got a shot at.
Sloters has a habit of beating me at races. So yeah, cool.
They haven't beaten a lot of people at races.
yeah, he does.
Hey,
So
I mean, we
he's better
learned
than
from
gamer.
this race you could always expect unexpected, even from the logic. So
Yeah.
anything could happen.
Yeah, we'll just assume that impossible things are occurring in these seeds, and
Oh, there you go.
it's perfect. All right. Well, what time is that scheduled for?
Let me make sure I have that right for you.
Should be in. Oh, you have like a 2-hour break. I believe it's
so that'll
7:30.
be 7:30 Eastern, so 5:30 for you.
Okay. 2 hours. Gotta find something to do.
Well, thanks
All
for
right.
commenting, y'all. And
Thanks
GG,
thanks for doing the tournament.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
problem.
GG, man. I'm gonna have
Good luck
to
in,
watch this back. Thanks.
good
Yep,
luck.
GG to both of you.
Win that thing, man. Win it.
Okay.
Let's do it, Zeni.
I'm gonna let you
Oh wait,
down.
I can't. I gotta be impartial. Sorry. I'm supposed to be impartial here, so let's get another good race between you and Sloters, and that'll be enough. But good luck for sure.
All right, thank you.
Take care, y'all.
Yeah, thanks, Zoast.
Hmm?
Okay, so yeah, the next race on this channel, make sure I have that right, will be coming up.
Yeah, we're down to I think the final 4 now. So all the remaining races will be on the main SpeedGaming channel.
It will be on SpeedGaming 1. That'll be coming your way in about 25 minutes. Brought to you by Kip and Mass Hysteria. And that'll be Maniacal versus Fruit Bat Salad. The 2 and the 3 seed overall in this tournament. So that'll be a really good one. You know, I keep saying this, like I have so many friends in this tournament, but two more good friends of mine racing each other. The good news about that is a friend always wins, but the bad news is a friend always loses.
Yeah, I'd be happy to see either of these guys in the final.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, I mean, look at the schedule. So the next 2 matches will be the 2 semifinals. Before the finals, we will actually have a show match, crowd control between Sefi versus Galmaz. And I actually haven't done a crowd control myself, but I know that basically it's donations which kind of make spice up the race, and all the proceeds will help fund the I believe Super Metroid category for the SG Live. I think you can explain better, Tracy.
So my understanding is SG Live is gonna happen again next fall. I hope to actually make it this time. Fingers crossed. But Kip is started a pool of money to get a Super Metroid randomizer tournament going at SG Live, and the money from the crowd control race is all going to go to help make that happen. And basically my understanding is the more money that gets put into different races, the more likely that those will happen, and more likely that those would be then restreamed on one of the SG networks and be one of the main tournaments going on there. So definitely save those bits and turn them into coins and donate your bits to the crowd control race tonight. I do believe it's still going to be Sefi versus Galmaz. Two more of my good friends. There's just so many good people in this community. Galmaz having won the 2017 tournament, so I am really looking forward to see him race because it's been a while for him. And of course, Sefi, everybody knows, has participated in tournaments and leagues in a variety of fashions. In fact, even helped run the tournament last spring of the Prodigy tournament for runners that didn't have a sub 50 yet. So both big names in the community, and looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna be the first crowd control tournament race that I've seen, so I'm very curious to see how that turns out.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of cool stuff. Like you can do things like, actually, I think my personal favorite is the baby hug, where you can donate your coins from your bits to do a slow amount of speed. You can also add items temporarily, take away items temporarily, one-hit KOs, all sorts of really cool things.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can give the runner a free shine spark, which sometimes is a good thing because it can help them get through things. Sometimes it's a bad thing. We've seen that happen where you give a shine spark on Mother Brain and you end up shine sparking into Mother Brain, which is a really bad idea. Or you can do things like take away Morph Ball for a little bit, which is one of those absolutely necessary items. Actually, it's the necessary item in the game. I often joke that to beat Super Metroid, you need Morph Ball. All other items are negotiable. So, and that's in randomizer. That's definitely true because one of the neat things about Super Metroid randomizer is you don't have all the hard gates. You have a lot of different ways of filling out your item inventory to be able to beat a game, depending on how the seed works. So, Certainly going to be a fun time watching that race.
Yeah, it looks like Kip has figured out what kind of caused the issue with the last seed, and since he's common, will be on comms for the next race, we should have a explanation. So I don't imagine we're not going to have any problems, or I guess unexpected happenings with the seeds for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, and to reiterate, that quirk did not affect the result of this match. I just want to make that absolutely 100% clear. It still was Zeni's race to win, and that's the way it was going to be. But yeah, we're going to have to take a break, so we'll be back in 20 minutes. I imagine Kip might come on. I don't know if Kip will come on a little bit earlier to explain what happened, but that'll be the next race. Like I said, the upcoming race between Fruit Bat Salad and Maniacal. Looking forward to watching those guys run. And yeah, looking forward to that.
Yep, stay tuned, guys. GG's.